Hello and welcome to the O'Rourke Report. Thank you for tuning in today. Got a couple of things to go over, just a little housekeeping stuff. And let me get my little list here. Okay. Oh, and before we start, let me just say, if you want to be notified every time we have a report come out, you can hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you like what you see. I hope you do. And hit the notification button. The notification button was the one that you want if you want to get notified every time we post one, which is usually at least once a week, but I try to do two, sometimes even 3 times a week if there are a lot of things going on. So let's get right to it. I mentioned a couple of reports ago about Big Brother, how they were kind of switching it up a little bit. They're trying to do sticky stuff, like they have this AI element to the show. Doesn't really bring anything to the show except say, hey, we're hip, we know what AI is. The show always comes down to the mix of personalities that are in the house, and the mix is definitely a very interesting one. This particular season, the alpha males got rooted out pretty quickly. There's one wild card guy, though, that is a monster when it comes to the comps. He literally gave up the power of veto one week because he just wanted to beat another guy in one of the competitions, and he did do that. Every single competition he's been in, he's won. And he's also like, he's a little cuckoo. A little bit, somebody likened him to Jim Carrey the other day, and he very much is that, but he's very likable. There's also a villain who started out thinking he was going to be everybody's favorite quirky little character, and he he is not coming across that way at all. In fact, what I think we're going to see this week is we're going to see people band together to try to get rid of him. Hopefully he didn't win HOH, but we'll find that out shortly. Tune it in. It's good this year if you're a fan. Okay. Let's go on. That's another competition show that I like. The challenge started up again. They're calling it, well, it is season 40 apparently, and it's broken into 4 segments. Some of the old school contestants, like Mark, if you remember, he was in the first season of Road Rules, and he's in it. And then they have the next section, which brings in Johnny Bananas and his cohorts. CT's in the first section, believe it or not. CT was on the competition before Johnny Bananas? I guess so. So he's in section number 1. Bananas is in section number 2. Section 3 are the newer kids. These really really, a lot younger, 20 years younger than the first batch. And then the last batch is all the little people who were coming in from the other CBS shows or Paramount shows, Big Brother contestants. Josh, if you remember Josh, he was a winner of his season on Big Brother. Josh, Big Brother contestants, and Survivor contestants. So far, so good. Usual drama. So that's started. And what else do we have? Oh, yeah. A little thing I'm going to say here, and it's So It Begins, I call it. As you know, one of my favorite shows is Summer House. And prior to that, Southern Charmed. Always loved Craig Conover on Southern Charmed, who was really going down the path of just a drunken Peter Pan boy, very much like, I'm going to say it, very much like Shep. He's knocking on 50, and he's still Peter Pan. And Craig was going that way until he hooked up with Paige from Summer House. And she cleaned him up. She got him focused on his job. He's making millions on his, I'm assuming he's making good coin on his store, Sewing Down South, which I've been to. He's opened up another outlet in Nashville. His product is getting in national chains. He's doing national endorsements. She's cleaned him up. He doesn't drink as much, so he's lost that puffiness in his face because he is a handsome guy, and the camera loves him. So anyway, Craig and Paige, the it couple, he obviously, and has said this over and over again, he wants to get married, but she's too busy being one of these, and I'll say it, maybe my unpopular opinion, these annoying 20 somethings, soon to be 30 somethings, influencers who really think they've got life licked. And who knows, maybe they do. But I think, kind of like disco, their day is going to come and go. That's just my opinion, I know. But anyway, she doesn't want to get married because she's too busy thinking she's going to, really, really, and she could be because she's very focused. She's going to, her career will only really take off if she's in New York, and she doesn't want to move down to Charleston. And he wants to get married. He wants to have children. He wants to bring the children up in Charleston. He doesn't want to bring them up in New York. Gee, I wonder why. New York school system. Um, I'm sure that'll go over like a lead balloon with some people, and I apologize for that. But anywho, um, they've been at this stalemate now for over a year as to where they're going to live. Are they actually going to get married? And I keep thinking that because he's such a catch, when I tell you, okay, Paige may have been responsible for cleaning him up, but he's cleaned up, which means I'm sure there's some smart little Southern belle who's got her cap set for him, and who's going to want the same things he wants. So I really think it's only a matter of time. So what I see today in Instagram is she's got a post on, and there's negative Craig comments in the post. So I'm like, is this how it begins? She starts trying to position herself as giving herself reasons to break up with him. I don't know, but I would hasten to say that they're probably going to be broken up by the new year, and Craig is going to have somebody else. And so will she, I imagine. But she can go on to her influencer career, and he can continue to do what he's doing. As long as he finds somebody as focused as Paige to keeps him on the off the Peter Pan trail and on the mature trail. My 2 cents. Oh, I read today that Netflix is canceling Maurice Umansky's, Kyle Richards' husband's, real estate show, Selling Beverly Hills. I, of all the real estate shows, and I watched them all, his was the least interesting to me, mainly because it featured Kyle's daughters. Not to take anything away from them, but they're just not as compelling. Their only claim to fame is that they are, I don't know, Kyle Richards' daughters. Weren't very interesting, and Netflix apparently is not going to go forward with season 3. All right, wham wham. Okay, let's see. $1 million listing. I've gone on and on about Tracy Tudor having some of the worst style, even worse than Giselle from Potomac. She had an outfit on in this week's episode that would have been fabulous. It was like a gray cashmere. If anybody saw it, it was a sleeveless high neck, and she had a sweater casually tied over it. It looked fabulous from like here up. I thought to myself, oh my God, she's got it. And then we see a rear shot of her as she walks away, and it's floor length. It is hugging her, and you see the outline of her thong underwear. I just can't help but think that's probably not the business look that you want. She had it all going on until she turned around. But it was an improvement. It was an improvement. And having said that, I really feel kind of bad dogging on her because I think she's an extremely nice person. She appears to be someone you'd be lucky to have as a friend. Certainly, Josh Flagg is very lucky and is very lucky that she looks after him like she does, and he listens. He appears to listen to her. He should listen a little bit more to Josh Altman. But as I studied Flagg in this week's episode, it occurred to me I always accuse him of being, thinking he's too rich to have to work on a personality. Well, that's a little snarky on my point because I think what's really going on, if I was reading what I was seeing on television correctly, is I think there's some major depression there, and I'm sorry to see it. And with friends like Josh and Tracy, maybe they can help him through whatever he's going through. At the very least, and they don't talk about it. I would assume that he's under some sort of some sort. Wow, that was hard. Some sort of therapy. As I hope he's in therapy because I do think there's a depression issue there. Sorry to say it. All right, so let me just wrap up Million Dollar Listing. I should be much nicer to Tracy Tudor because anybody would be lucky to have her as a friend, and she's got a little better with her styling, but not too much. And I am going to say on the OC, I did kind of go back over last week's episode and this week's episode, and speaking of someone you really, would be a good friend, there's also someone who you should head for the hills if they ever say to you, I want to be your friend, and that's Tamara. Boy, oh boy, she is just so thirsty for that camera. She was in New York doing shows. She did Watch What Happens Live last week, and she was peddling this threat which Alexis Bolino did on this week's episode as well. A threat to Shannon Bedore, which I think everyone can agree there is an alcohol issue there. She doesn't want to face it yet, but I can't help but think she will face it sooner rather than later. The threat Tamara was peddling around town under the guise of being a friend is that there apparently is a ring camera tape or several tapes that exist, one of which shows the night of the incident where Shannon, sped away from John Jansen's house and sped into the side of somebody else's house, and then it was, according to Tamara, 3 times over the limit. I don't remember it being that high, but anyway, you slice it. And Tamara saying Shannon doesn't ever want that tape to come out. I don't know if anybody will ever see it, but it's terrible. Just going on and on about how horrible this tape is. So I hope we never get to see it. I think it was a very thinly veiled threat to Shannon, and why do it? There's a problem there. I get it with Shannon, and it's something she's got to solve. But those type of threats. It was just a little creepy. Other thing I want to say about, oh yes, the Jenn Pedranti, whatever her name is. Emily went after her about Jenn just living a lifestyle or portraying that she has a lifestyle that she really shouldn't be doing if she's someone who doesn't pay her bills or has money issues. And one of them has to do with Jenn running around with the Rolex. I mean, Emily's position is, well, if you're not able to pay the rent on your house, why don't you try selling the Rolex? See if that can help you out. I mean, these are all very commonsensical things. I'm someone who's always been very good with my money, and I've been very lucky in that regard. So I really don't have any patience for people who uh, play dumb about what they're responsible for and what they're not responsible for. So I'm kind of on Emily's side, just like I was on Gina's side on this. And but but yeah, speaking of Tamara, she's the only one that made a suggestion that Jenn Pedranti should listen to, and the only skills she has is Tamara said she just needs to go on OnlyFans, which a lot of the housewives who are looking to supplement these lavish lifestyles they claim to have go out and make a lot of money. I'm thinking about Larsa Pippen, who famously does it. And the other one is, what's her name? Denise from Beverly Hills. They all claim to be making some heavy money, but as I always say, at what price? What price? So that's what I think Jen needs to do, because she is pretty, and I'm sure she'd get a lot of people who pay for it. And um, the other thing I want to say about the OC is Alexis Bolino. I think we saw a side of her. See, during her tenure on when she was a housewife on OC, she was constantly being attacked. So she was always on edge. She was constantly being attacked by Tamara. Vicky was gaslighting her. It was not a pleasant experience for this woman. So I don't think we're seeing a very different Alexis Bolino this time. She has come in with the full support of Tamara, so she's relaxed in that regard. Vicky's gone, and she's got a storyline. Her storyline is she's dating Shannon's ex, and she's able to tweak Shannon and have scenes and be in the middle and kind of be the star, I guess, in her mind. And it's making her, now that she's a relaxed Alexis Bolino, she's kind of crazy, completely annoying, if you ask me. That's my opinion. My other little thing on the OC is they had Elizabeth Vargas back. If you remember, she was a housewife 4 or 5 seasons ago, and they didn't make any mention of her previous housewife experience. Gina was introducing her to the audience as though nobody had ever met her before. Well, everybody remembers watching her a couple of years ago. So I don't know. I wonder why that was. I don't know. I don't know what the thinking is behind that. But she has a house in La Quinta, I believe it is. I don't have any idea of where it is, but apparently it's right next door to one of the Kardashians, and she's selling it for $9 million. And Gina's got the commission, or got the listing. So hope Gina sells it. I hope she makes a lot of money on that. I Googled it before figure they taped a year ago. I Googled it before I came on to see did Gina, sell at a house. And I couldn't find any mention of it. So I have a feeling she didn't sell it. But the last thing I'm going to say about the OC, and the last thing I have today is we all know that Emily and a lot of those ladies are all on Ozempic. They've all lost weight, and Emily lost weight, but you'd never know it because she insists upon stuffing herself into clothes that are a size to 2 sizes too small. Emily, you lost the weight. Wear clothes that fit you. Stop putting yourself in sausage casings because you're a stocky girl. There's nothing wrong. You're never going to be whippet thin. You're not built that way, but you have a good figure, but you'd never know it because you stuff yourself into sausage casings. Oh my God. That's all I have for today. I'm sorry if I was a little negative. This is maybe like a little pet peeve session, but I think we're all probably saying the same thing. I don't know. So anyway, if you like what you saw and you want to be notified every time we have one of our O'Rourke reports, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification button, wherever that is. And that helps me out with my analytics, which will tell me who's watching, how long do they watch, all sorts of really good, valuable things. And I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much again for tuning in. And I look forward to seeing you the next time on the O'Rourke Report.